This is Android Basics, in which we bring you up to date on the things that you should know to use your Android phone.
Now we turn to our Android Basics section, and it's our next section of One UI. I think this is part 14. And John shows us the privacy settings.
Hello. Today we're going to be continuing our way through Samsung settings. We are in the security and privacy settings area. Last time we covered security. Today we'll be covering privacy. So I'm going to go directly down to that heading.
Privacy heading.
And the first thing we have here.
Permissions used in last 24 hours. Camera 4 apps. Microphone 5 apps. Location 6 apps.
So you have which apps have recently used those 3 permissions. If you tap on any of them, it'll open a screen.
Permission usage. Apps need your permission to access sensitive data and features on your phone, such as the camera or your location. Permission usage shows you which apps have used permissions and when. Is an app turning on the microphone in the background? You can find out here. If any apps are using permissions in a way that you're not comfortable with, you can immediately deny the permission to protect your privacy. Start button.
I'm going to hit start.
Permission usage. Navigate up button. Usage history. More options button. Location. Used by 6 apps. Today. Samsung Internet.
So these are the apps that have used my location.
While using app, 9:11 a.m. Google. Background, 9:03 a.m. Background, 3:03 a.m. Habitat. Background, 6:48 a.m.
So as you can see, it'll show you which apps have accessed this permission and whether or not it was while you were in the app or in the background. So it's a good thing to know. I'm going to back out of here.
Security and privacy. Location 6 apps.
So I just went into the location, but you could do the same for camera or microphone. And next we have
Permission manager. Allow or deny apps to access features or data on your phone.
All right, so let's go in here.
Permission manager. Navigate up button.
So here we have a list of all the different permissions, starting with
Body sensors. 0 of 2 apps allowed. Calendar. 8 of 22 apps allowed. Call logs. 14 of 19 apps allowed. Camera. 27 of 87 apps allowed.
So this is a long list. I won't go through every permission, but I will open one to show you what it looks like.
Camera. Navigate up button.
So here you can find a list of all of the apps that want the camera permission.
Allowed all the time. Heading. No apps allowed.
That's a good thing. I don't want any app always accessing my camera.
Allowed only while in use. Heading. Airbnb. Amazon shopping.
So this is going to be a long list of all the apps I've given the camera permission to. And after this list, you'll have a heading for what's not allowed.
Not allowed. Heading.
And this will be the apps
Amazon Alexa.
that
Authenticator.
might ask you for the camera permission if you decide to use them in a specific way or turn on a specific feature within the app. But as of now, I have not granted permission to any of these apps. So I'm going to back out.
Permission manager. Camera. 27 of 87 apps allowed.
And again, you can get to all of your different permission types in this list. And from there, you can see what apps have permission all the time while the app's in use or no permission at all.
Security and privacy. Permission manager. Allow or deny apps to access features or data on your phone.
So now we're back on the privacy settings, and I'm going to go to the next item.
Additional privacy controls. Control access to the camera, microphone, and clipboard.
Let's go in here.
Additional privacy controls. Navigate up button.
First we have
Camera access. Allow apps to use the camera if they have the appropriate permissions. On switch.
So this is just global camera access. You could also add this toggle to your quick settings. So if you just want, for some reason, to turn your camera completely off and not let any app access it, you could do that. Same with
Microphone access. Allow apps to use the microphone if they have the appropriate permissions. On switch.
microphones. So if you just globally want to turn your microphone off, you can. I don't recommend it because if you got a phone call, the phone app could not access the microphone. But if you're in a situation where you want to turn that off, you can. And then after that, we have
Alert when clipboard accessed. Get an alert when an app accesses text, images, or other content you've copied. Off switch.
So I have this turned off. I'm assuming that would just be a toast notification of some sort. And that's all that's on this page. So I'm going to back out.
Security and privacy. Additional privacy controls. Control access to the camera, microphone, and clipboard.
Next we have,
More privacy settings.
let's see what's in more privacy settings.
More privacy settings. Navigate up button.
Let's see what we have.
Samsung heading.
A Samsung heading. Under that we have.
Samsung privacy website.
So I think this just takes you to Samsung's website if you want to see their privacy statement. Next.
Customization service.
So customization service, this is a Samsung thing. I have it turned off, but if you want them to track your location and messages you've sent and that sort of thing to customize your experience to have recommendations, you can, but again, I have that turned off. Next we have,
Send diagnostic data. On switch.
I usually keep this turned on because, if there's a problem, I want them to know about it and I want them to fix it. But that's up to you. You could turn it on or turn it off.
Google heading.
Then we have the Google section.
Android personalization service.
Same sort of thing, but Android related.
On Android personalization service. Switch.
I have that one turned on.
Data sharing updates for location. Review apps that change the way they may share your location data.
You can go in there to review that.
Android system intelligence.
Let's go in here.
Android system intelligence. Navigate up button.
And on this page we have,
Device learning. Get suggestions based on the people, apps, and content you interact with. Learn more about device learning.
and
Keyboard. Show smart replies and paste suggestions. On-device recognition. On-device speech recognition.
so this is on-device speech recognition, meaning it doesn't use the cloud. You can go in here and manage what languages you have downloaded to be able to recognize your voice without an internet connection. And then we have,
Clear data. Erase what your device has learned.
so you can erase everything if you have this enabled. And then your smart replies will not be as smart.
More privacy settings. Android system intelligence.
Below that we have,
Health Connect. Manage app access to health data.
I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
Autofill service from Google.
Autofill service from Google. Let's go in here.
Autofill with Google. Navigate up button. Use autofill with Google. On switch.
I won't go in too much detail here because we've covered this extensively in Android settings before, but here are the options.
Personal info. Name, email address, phone numbers, addresses.
So you could save your information there,
Google Password Manager. Passwords, passkeys.
and you can have it save your passwords
Google Pay. Payment methods.
and your payment methods.
Preferences. Security, sync.
And then here you can go in to change the options preferences for it. I'm going to back out.
More privacy settings. Autofill service from Google.
Next we have,
Activity controls.
so these activity controls will take you to a page where you can choose your Google account and it takes you to your account privacy settings where you can customize all kinds of things about what you let Google track as far as your activity and what you don't. Next, we have
Ads.
ads. I'm going to go in here.
Ads. Navigate up button.
So I'm just going to show you what's in here. This is the ad tracking section, if you want to call it that.
Ad privacy. Customize info apps used to show you ads. Reset advertising ID. This generates a new advertising ID that apps can use from now on. Delete advertising ID. Apps can no longer use this advertising ID to show you personalized ads. Enable debug logging for ads. Instruct apps to write ads debugging information, such as network traffic, to the system log. Off. Switch. These settings help you control whether apps can use this device's advertising ID to personalize ads. This device's advertising ID.
Those are all the settings that apply to ad tracking if you want to reset your ID, if you want to delete it, so forth. It was pretty self-explanatory, I think. So if you want to stop seeing ads for a specific item you used to be interested in or are no longer interested in, you'd come in here to reset this advertising ID. I'm going to back out.
More privacy settings. Ads.
Next.
Usage and diagnostics.
So again, just like in the Samsung section, this is where you would go to choose whether or not you want Google to know about how you use your device and the errors you run into, that sort of thing. You can go in here to turn that off if you want to, or turn it on if it's off. So I'm going to back out.
Security and privacy. Navigate up button. More privacy settings.
And below more privacy settings, we have one more.
Private share. Share files privately, prevent recipients from resharing, and set expiration dates.
So that is an interesting feature that I've never used, but it's there if you want to go in and see what that's all about. And that brings us to the end of this demonstration of the privacy settings on Samsung devices. I will now send it back to the crew.
Anyone want to add anything to this? Warren, have you got any thoughts having heard that?
Privacy is a very good thing, and I'm glad John took the time to go through this because I don't know if you're like me, there's so many things I want to be made private. So we do encourage people to always go into these sections of the phone and know what's going on. If there are certain things you don't want to be going out there, guys, take advantage of this. And so, John, thank you so much for doing this again. It's absolutely beautiful.
No problem. I also want to remind people, I did this last time we covered this in just the general Android settings, but remember that if you give apps permission to things and then you set up a new phone and you transfer over your account and your apps, all those settings go with it. So, it's a good thing to just go look and see what apps you've allowed certain permissions to, because you could have an app in there that's, you allowed it permission years and years ago and don't even use the app anymore, and it's still got that permission. So it's a good thing to review every once in a while.
It's nice you mentioned that because when I transitioned from my Galaxy S21 to the S23 Plus that I set up a few days ago, Monday to be precise, and all of my privacies from my S21 were transferred over. So just make sure that you have things where you want them, even if you're changing phones. If you have restoration completed, right, those settings will also transfer. But it's always a good idea to go back in there and make sure that the change is effective, because I tell you what, my Pixel of all phones, for some reason, I reset my Pixel maybe some 2 or 3 days ago, my Pixel 8 Pro, and my Telegram and some other app didn't come through. I had never seen that. Something very odd.
To John's point about apps kind of skulking on your phone with permissions they shouldn't have, Google is trying to save us from ourselves a little bit by kind of cancelling permissions every so often. It's a bit sketchy. And also, I think we've discussed this before. I would like a global option to make it not do that, but it's good advice. Go through and check, even if Google is trying to help you out by cancelling permissions, especially for unused apps.
So Google cancelled the permission for unused app, and I think the reason why Telegram did not come, especially if you have installed Telegram beta, which is always out of the Play Store, which is on the Telegram channel, then that app will not transfer to your phone.
That is very interesting. That should have been the reason why, because to be honest, that was the very first time that an app didn't come through after I did a system reset on my Pixel phone. So that explains it. Now I know better.